So someone woke up early from their nap, but we are gonna go for it anyway. So for years, I wanted to use a natural shampoo option for my hair, and I tried everything you could imagine. I tried no poo, I tried baking soda and vinegar, I tried many different natural shampoos that you can buy at the store, but they all had the same result. My hair felt yucky. It felt dry, it felt greasy, it didn't feel clean. It just never felt smooth and shiny and how I wanted my hair to feel. Until I tried these tallow shampoo bars, and friends, let me tell you, they are amazing. I've been using them now in my hair for the last 3 or 4 years, and my hair has never felt better. So I'm gonna show you how we make them. What is a shampoo bar? So until a few years ago, I had never heard of shampoo bars before. Basically, it is just a concentrated bar of soap with a formula that is specifically designed to be beneficial for hair. It cleans your hair, it produces this really nice lather, just like when you use soap, and just specifically designed for your hair. And if making soap intimidates you, don't let it. I realize the process can sound a little intimidating and require some specific ingredients, but I promise if you can get past that fear factor, it's really worth it, and it's really a super easy process. So the first step is gonna be just measuring out your oils. This recipe uses a blend of coconut oil, olive oil, tallow, and then castor oil. So tallow is the first ingredient that I measure out here. Tallow is basically, it's just melted beef fat or suet. So you render suet down and that produces tallow. And when I'm rendering suet to make tallow, I always use the wet method or rendering it in water, and that helps eliminate that beefy smell. So I always get tallow from a local farm or a butcher. Sometimes you can buy already rendered tallow, which would make your life a lot easier, but the process of rendering suet into tallow is really not hard, and I'll link below kind of the tutorial of what I use to render tallow. But we love tallow in so many skincare recipes. It's just so full of healthy fats, and it's really beneficial for your hair as well. The next ingredient you're gonna add is your olive oil. And so you want a high quality olive oil. The main thing that I always look for when buying olive oil is that it was just produced in one country. So we actually have a friend who sells olive oil from her family's olive orchard in Greece. And that's her biggest tip, is that if you see that the olives in the olive oil that you're buying come from multiple countries, that's usually a sign that it's a little fishy, that something might be adulterated in that oil. And so what you wanna look for is olives that just come from one specific country, and it's much more likely that that's gonna be a high quality, pure olive oil. The next ingredient that I add is coconut oil. So coconut oil is full of healthy fats, and this is gonna be the main thing that's gonna give your shampoo bar that really nice soapy lather. And so this is one of the things I love about this shampoo bar as opposed to other shampoos, natural shampoo options that I've tried in the past, is that most of those natural shampoo options really produced no lather, but this shampoo bar feels so luxurious. It just has a really nice soapy lather that leaves your hair feeling so clean and so good. One of the things that kind of caused me to pause before pulling the trigger on starting to make our own soap was just some of the upfront expenses with it. So there are kind of some specific equipment that you need to make soap, right? You're measuring out all of your ingredients, so you need a scale, you need soap molds to make your soap. But if you can buy all of those ingredients and equipment that you need up front, it will last a long time. You'll be able to make a ton of soap with it. So I will link below to all of the equipment and ingredients that we use, as well as a complete recipe with all of the exact measurements for everything that we do here, so you can see kind of the step-by-step instructions. The fourth oil that you're gonna add is castor oil. And so there is just tons of anecdotal evidence out there touting the benefits that castor oil has with hair. It contains ricinoleic acid, which is known for being beneficial for hair and just causing hair growth and blood flow to the scalp and all sorts of other benefits for hair. Another thing that also helped kind of just cover those costs of buying all the equipment and ingredients that you need for soap making was that when you make this recipe, you're actually going to be making 8 bars of soap. So that's probably far more shampoo bars than you actually need. So when I first started making them, I started giving them away to friends and family. They make awesome gifts, and now I actually have a steady group of customers that buy shampoo bars from me regularly, and so that works really well, and just using that money to go ahead and buy more ingredients when I need them. After you're done measuring out your oils, and again, I put all of the exact measurements in that recipe below, you're gonna go ahead and heat the oils until they are melted. So once all your oils are melted, I just do this over medium to low heat in a saucepan on the stove. And then once they're all melted, I remove the oils from heat and I put the pan just straight in the fridge, because in order to do the next step of adding your lye solution to the oils, you need those oils to be chilled down to only around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can leave them out on the counter and that would be fine. It will just take a little longer. So to speed up the process, I just put those melted oils in the fridge for 10-15 minutes until they get down to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. While your oils are cooling, you're gonna go ahead and make your water lye solution. So you measure out your water, you're gonna measure out your lye. And this can be the part that gets a little scary, that freaks people out when it comes to soap making, but don't be nervous. We're gonna walk through exactly how you can do this process really safely. So you're gonna measure out your water, and I always like to do this in a food grade plastic bucket or a stainless steel bowl, because when you add your lye to this water solution, it produces a lot of heat in that reaction, so much so that it could cause glass to crack or break if you're doing it in a glass container. So that's why we always do it in this food grade plastic. And so how the soap making process works is it's essentially the process of turning melted oils into hard soap. And it does this by the process of saponification, or adding an alkaline solution to those melted oils, having this chemical reaction happen that causes those melted oils to then turn into this hard soap bar. So it's really a cool process. And so the lye solution acts as that alkaline solution that you're adding to your oils to cause saponification to happen. But you do want to be careful and cautious when working with lye and making this lye solution. We always do this outside. So we have our lye in we have it in a Pyrex measuring cup here. You can measure out your lye in whatever container you want. And then we measure out our water in the food grade bucket, like I mentioned. And then we always take this process outside because it produces fumes and it's just strong, potent stuff. We also always make sure we wear gloves when we're doing this and goggles. Jim's gonna do this for us today outside. He's actually usually our lye solution maker. I usually let him do that part of the process. And so you always want to make sure when you are working with lye that you pour the lye into the water. You never want to pour the water into the lye. So that's an important one. So you're gonna go outside, put your goggles on, put your gloves on, and then you are going to slowly and gently pour your measured out lye into your water. And you're gonna stir it slowly while you do that. A few things just to take note of. Sometimes the lye can kind of stick or kind of crust on the container, so you just want to scrape that off and just pour it gently. This will create some fumes, so we always try to position ourselves away from where those fumes are going to go. Like if the wind is blowing, make sure that they're not going to be blowing right in your face, to just make this process be as safe as possible. So after you pour the lye into the water and you stir it thoroughly together, you're going to notice that it's going to turn from a cloudy solution to a clear solution, and it's going to be extremely hot. And so you're just going to let that lye solution rest or chill for about 10 minutes before you're gonna bring it in and add it to your oils to have that saponification reaction happen. Another question I get a lot is, can I just switch to using these shampoo bars after I've been using a standard commercial soap? And my answer is usually probably not. So commercial soaps use silicones and polymers in them, and these are forms of chemicals derived from plastic, and they actually function to give your hair that, nice shine that shampoos always promise. But really what they're doing is they're kind of coating your hair with these chemicals to give them this shine. But by doing so, they're actually causing your hair to not be able to absorb moisture. So over time, by using standard commercial shampoos, your hair can actually really become very dry and brittle if you don't continue to use the commercial shampoos. So once you stop using them and switch to something like a shampoo bar, you will probably find that your hair is really dry and brittle. So what you need to do is detox your hair to kind of get rid of all this junk that had been on there from these chemicals, the polymers and the silicones, and rid your hair of that so that it can accept moisture again and that you can use these shampoo bars. So there's a lot of recipes out there. If you look up hair detox, it usually involves using a mixture of bentonite clay with aloe vera gel and some apple cider vinegar, some things that are just gonna pull those chemicals out of your hair. But I would definitely recommend, if you had been using a standard commercial hair shampoo product before this, to do a hair detox before transitioning to using these shampoo bars. Once your lye solution has turned from cloudy to clear and had a chance to rest for 10 minutes, and your oil mixture is cooled and at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you are ready to make your soap. So to do this, you're gonna add your lye solution to your oil mixture, and then you're gonna blend. We like to do this with an immersion blender. You can also use a regular blender or a food processor if that's what you have, but I think an immersion blender just works really easily, minimal dishes to wash, and so that's what we always use. And you're gonna blend that mixture together, and you wanna blend it until it's at a kind of a light vanilla pudding sort of consistency. Be sure not to over blend it, because once you over blend it, it almost becomes too hard and hard to kind of form into your soap. That's what I did the first time I made soap. I definitely over blended that mixture. And so you want to make sure as soon as it turns to that light pudding, thickened sort of consistency, you go ahead and stop blending. Now this is where you can add in any essential oils that you want to add. So there's a few essential oils that are really beneficial for hair, specifically lavender is one, peppermint is another. So our typical go-to is adding peppermint essential oils to our shampoo bars. I add about a tablespoon of essential oils or a tablespoon of peppermint essential oils, and we love to buy our essential oils from Plant Therapy. That is just our go-to source for essential oils. I think they're really high quality oils and they've worked really well for us. But if you don't want to add oils or you don't want a scent to your shampoo bars, you can totally omit them too. After you add your essential oils, you're just gonna go ahead, give it a quick blend again to make sure everything is incorporated, and then you are going to pour that soap mixture into a soap mold. And so we bought this soap mold. It works really well. It's the exact size that this recipe makes. And after it has a chance to set, it also, because it's this silicone mold, just pops out super easily, which is really nice. So pour that mixture into your soap mold, and then you're just gonna let that set overnight or for about 24 hours. One thing that's really nice about this recipe is that while we use these as shampoo bars, they also just make really great soap. So you can use them as body soap. I'm also experimenting with using them as a dish soap bar for a zero waste option for washing dishes. And so it's just a really versatile recipe that Yes, it makes a great shampoo bar, but you can also just use it as regular soap if that's what you want to. The next day, you're gonna pop that hardened soap out of the mold, and now is the time when you're gonna cut your soap. So we bought this little cutting tool that makes these nice curvy edges, or you could just use a knife or a straight edge to cut your soap, whatever works for you. And so people have all sorts of different, you can measure it to make sure all of your bars are the exact same size. We're not usually that careful. We just eyeball it, but we have found the easiest way to do this is just cut your bars of soap. So cut them in half, and then cut that half in half to make quarters, and then cut those quarters in half to make eighths, and that's how we make our soap bars. You can also, if you want them all to look pretty and even and have those curly edges, you can slice little ends off so that all your bars are gonna look uniform. We usually just take the ends for ourselves and sell the ones in the middle, so that's kind of how we get around that. But cut your shampoo bars, and then after they are all cut, you're gonna lay them flat. We like to put them on like a drying rack, and then they need about 4 weeks to cure. So the curing process is basically a process that allows those shampoo bars to harden. If you were to use the shampoo bars now, once you introduce them to water, they would just melt right away. They would be too soft. So you wanna give them a good month to harden, to be firm enough to use in your shower, to use as soap. And then after that 4 weeks or month is up, you are ready to go. You have made shampoo bars and they are ready to use. What about conditioner? So for us, I actually use this shampoo bar as shampoo and conditioner. I don't add any other specific conditioner. This does it all. It leaves my hair feeling smooth and silky, and I've never had an issue with needing to add a separate conditioner in addition. But I have talked to other people who use this who do add a conditioner. So some people do an apple cider vinegar rinse along with the shampoo bar. Other people I know will make like a dry conditioner, and they will use that after taking a shower and using this shampoo bar. So you kind of just have to experiment and see what's gonna work for you, whether you can just use the shampoo bar on its own or whether you wanna add some sort of conditioner option as well. What's been your experience with natural shampoos? Have you found something that's worked really well for you? I'm always looking to do research on this and to learn from others. So share what's worked for you in the comments below. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.